Hello kiddies, it's time for some hot three-way action of the Pixel variety, the best kind, naturally, as we're stacking the fresh new budget-friendly Pixel 8a up against the flagship Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro. Now the Pixel 8a isn't particularly cheap, costing you 499 quid, and the Pixel 8 is just a mite more expensive at 569 quid, and that Pixel 8 Pro tops the price list at £799. And those Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro prices were recently discounted on Google's website. All accurate at the time I shot this video, which means of course they'll probably be completely different by the time it goes live. But anyway, here's how the Pixel 8a, 8 and 8 Pro stack up for camera tech, gaming performance, battery life, all that good stuff. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do poke, subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Alright, so here we have this Pixely trio arranged in price as well as size order. Pixel 8a here on the left, the cheapest of the bunch. Then the Pixel 8 and then the mega expensive wallet draining Pixel 8 Pro. Now the Pixel 8a and the Pixel 8 are two of the most compact smartphones you can grab right now at 6.1 inches and 6.2 inches respectively. And they're effectively the same size because you've got slightly thicker bezels surrounding that screen here on the cheaper Pixel 8a. But hey, excellent bit of hand feel with them. Both are comfortable to clutch and to use one-handed, just about. Certainly helped along by the rounded corners and curved edges, no iPhone style flatness here. And in comparison, that Pixel 8 Pro is a bit of a monster at 6.7 inches. It's like that kid at school who was 7 foot by the time he was 14. So this one's certainly a more standard smartphone size for 2024, and yeah, one-handed use is a bit of a bugger, even with the dedicated one-handed mode, but still fairly comfortable to clutch. You've got, again, those rounded corners and edges, so it doesn't jut into your palm quite as nastily as, say, a Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. And just to confuse matters, all three of these Pixely phones are constructed from different materials. So up front it's Gorilla Glass 3 protecting the screen on the Pixel 8a, Gorilla Glass Victus on the Pixel 8, and Victus 2 here on the Pixel 8 Pro. Now Victus is considerably more shatter resistant than Gorilla Glass 3, so if you happen to fumble and drop your phone quite a lot, perhaps after several bevies like my good self, you might want to go either Pixel 8 or Pixel 8 Pro. And as for Victus 2, found on the Pro model, that's more scratch resistant than the original Victus, which does tend to mark up rather easily. So I'd definitely absolutely slap a screen protector on the 8a or the 8. All three Pixel 8 series smartphones sport a metal frame for a nice premium finish. But then the back ends are just as varied as the front. You've actually got a placky back here on the Pixel 8a. That's upgraded to regular Victus here on the Pixel 8 and Victus 2 again on the Pro. And the Pixel 8 is actually the odd one out of the bunch because it's got a shiny arse compared with the matte finish on the Pixel 8a and the 8 Pro. I've got to say I do prefer the matte design to this glossy vibe because the Pixel 8 does pick up grime and muck far too easily. It just seems naturally attracted to that shiny surface. I actually think I prefer the placky back here on the Pixel 8a. It's highly resistant to greasy, grimy prints and the rest. Although it is susceptible to scratches, already got a couple of light nicks down there at the bottom end after just a week of use. The Pixel 8 is similar with that Victus glass as well, so I'd definitely recommend slapping a case on this and the Pixel 8. The aesthetics are basically the same no matter which Pixel smartphone you choose. You've got your wee Google logo branding slapped there in the middle, and of course that iconic edge-to-edge camera bar. And they're all water and dust resistant as well. IP67 rating for the Pixel 8a versus IP68 for the 8 and the 8 Pro, but all three can be dropped into a bathtub, a jacuzzi, sink, whatever. As long as you pluck them out and give them a good toweling off, it's all good. Now, perhaps not particularly shocking news that all three Pixel 8 series smartphones boast the latest, freshest Android 14 OS. With 7 full years of OS and security updates. So if you want to hang on to your smartphone until the 2030s, then job done. Pretty sure my liver will have packed out long before then. And it's effectively the exact same setup and experience again as you would expect. So for instance, all three Pixel 8 series smartphones boast an in-display fingerprint sensor which is fast and reliable. And as a backup option, you've also got face unlock as well, so you can just hit that power button, it'll recognize your mug, and then you're straight into your desktops once again. Of course, face unlock can be a wee bit janky if the lighting is CAC, and it's not quite as secure as using a fingerprint sensor either, but all of your biometric type shenanigans is safely ensconced away on Google's Titan M2 security chip. Helps to keep it secure and a bit more safeguarded against any hacking type shindiggery. And most of the rest of the features are identical. So for instance, you've got a good bit of eSIM support on all three. You've got Google One's built-in VPN. The storage situation's slightly different. You've got 128 or 256 gigs of storage as a choice on all three, but only the Pro model offers a whopping half a terabyte. So if you're going to be shooting a lot of 4K video or downloading an awful lot of whatever it is you like to download, then the Pro might be the best option, especially as none of these Pixel smartphones offer a bit of micro SD expandability. And yes, it's 2024, so naturally you've got all the AI type shenanigans that everyone keeps banging on about, including a good bit of circle to search if you want to just get a quick image search on the go. You can also get artificial intelligence to create you a wallpaper, which is particularly good if you're into like psychedelic substances, or you really want your desktops to look like some 1970s prog rock album art. And all the other great stuff, including recording, transcription, live translation, excellent bit of spam filtering, and if you happen to reside in the US, you've got some bonus bits as well that us Brits don't have just yet, the likes of the website summarize feature. But one of the only features you'll find slapped on the Pixel 8 Pro that you don't get on the other two is the built-in thermometer. And yes, this can be used to check the temperature of your coffee before you drink it, or your cat, if you're interested in that. I'm honestly yet to find an actual proper real life use for it, but it's there if you want it. Now for the display tech, well, the obvious difference between these three is the size. It's an OLED panel on all three, 6.1 inches on the Pixel 8a, 6.2 inches on the Pixel 8, and then a whopping great 6.7 inch panel on the 8 Pro. Same aspect ratio, but the resolution is different. It's Full HD Plus on the Pixel 8 and 8a, whereas the Pixel 8 Pro has a Quad HD Plus display, just to make up in part for the fact that it's so bloody enormous. And yeah, gaming and movie lovers might prefer that more spacious panel on the Pro, but all three Pixels are rather cracking when it comes to just kicking back with a movie, enjoying some Genshin, whatever you want to do. And this Googly Trio supports HDR streaming, HDR10 to be specific in the likes of Netflix. As well as the size, the Pixel 8 Pro does have a couple of other advantages over its siblings. For one, it's slightly brighter when you max out those levels, so outdoor visibility slightly clearer, although to be honest, do not struggle at all with the Pixel 8a or the Pixel 8, so don't worry there. And the other bonus is its proper LTPO display tech as well. So all three of these smartphones max out at 120Hz refresh, nice and fluid for your supported apps and when you're zipping around in Android. It's a nice smooth experience. But the Pixel 8a and the Pixel 8 can only drop as low as 60Hz refresh, whereas the Pixel 8 Pro can drop as low as 1Hz, perfect if you're just viewing a static image, if it's just using the always on display, etc. That just helps to boost the battery life a wee bit. And you've got a respectable stereo speaker setup on all three Google blowers, but don't take my word for it, let's try them out. Starting with the 8a. Would unfortunately mean that the Xperia 10 Mark 6 loses out on some of that distinctive Sony identity, which I do rather love. Same again on the 8. Would unfortunately mean that the Xperia 10 Mark 6 loses out on some of that distinctive Sony identity, which I do rather love. And then finally, that Pro blower. Which would unfortunately mean that the Xperia 10 Mark 6 loses out on some of that distinctive Sony identity, which I do rather love. Yeah, the Pixel 8 Pro has a bigger blower. It does have slightly more beefy audio. There's more going on in those lows, not quite as tinny as the other two, but all three certainly nice and loud, so you'll clearly be able to enjoy every golden word if you're kicking back with your favorite bold tech YouTube twat, even if it's in a noisy kitchen, noisy car, noisy wherever. Now performance should be pretty straightforward because all three Pixel 8 series blowers are powered by Google's own Tensor G3 chipsets, as crafted in collaboration with Samsung, although you do get slightly more RAM on the Pro, 12 gigs of DDR5 RAM versus the 8 gigs crammed inside of the Pixel 8 and Pixel 8a. I found that everyday performance absolutely fine on all three. Apps load up nice and quick. It's very rare to see any kind of juddering or untowards behavior. And if you are a gamer, yeah, you're going to prefer the Pixel 8 Pro. It just seems to run the likes of Genshin Impact just that wee bit smoother when it's on the highest possible graphic settings. However, things have improved on the Pixel 8, which was a wee bit juddery when I first started gaming on it several months ago. But now you can, again, get a fairly fluid frame rate on the likes of Genshin Impact, even on the top detail levels. And same goes for the Pixel 8a as well. And none of these handsets heat up to a troubling amount, even if you're gaming for over an hour, so you won't see any throttling, won't have your fingertips burn off, anything like that. And oh yeah, all three Pixel 8 series smartphones support a gaming mode of sorts, but it's pretty cack. So what about the battery life on these Pixel blowers? Well, the Pixel 8a and the Pixel 8 sport a very similar sized battery. Pixel 8's slightly bigger, but they're both around the 4,500 mAh capacity mark. As for the ruddy, huge Pixel 8 Pro, where you probably won't be shocked to hear that's got a bigger battery stuffed inside, just over 5,000 mAh. However, I found the actual battery life is very similar across all three. The Pixel 8 Pro may have a bigger battery, but it's also got a bigger, higher resolution screen to power. So you end up getting similar returns from a full charge. But the good news is that all three of them, when fully powered up in the morning, will see you through a fairly long intensive day until you're all tucked up with Teddy. Even with around 6 to 7 hours of screen on time per day, plenty of mixed use and a good bit of audio streaming in the background, I haven't struggled with any of these. As for the recharging speeds, where you got 30 watt wide charging on the Pixel 8 Pro, 27 watt wide charging on the 8, and a supremely lethargic 18 watt charging for the Pixel 8a. And the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro will charge up in roughly the same amount of time, but the Pixel 8a does take a wee bit longer at the plug to get fully juiced up. We're talking roughly 80 minutes for the 8 and the 8 Pro, and over an hour and a half for the Pixel 8a. Ugh. And if you've got a Qi charging pad handy, well, good news, all three Pixels support wireless charging, slightly faster on the Pro, 23 watts versus 18 watts on the others, but again, the bigger battery means you don't really see any faster charging on it. And while the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro supports battery share, so you can wirelessly charge up any true wireless earbuds or other accessories by slapping them on the back, and that feature is sadly missing in action here on the Pixel 8a. So let's finish up this lovely Pixel 8a versus 8 and 8 Pro comparison with a squint at the optics. And as you can probably tell from a quick glance, there are some differences in that camera hardware. So the main shooter on the Pixel 8a is a 64 meg quad PD camera, and that's upgraded on the 8 and the 8 Pro to a 50 meg octa PD snapper. And all three naturally sport a tasty bit of optical image stabilization. The Pro also boasts multi-zone laser detect autofocus, versus just single zone on the Pixel 8, and I believe it's just a more basic autofocus on the Pixel 8a. Now occasionally the Pixel 8a's focus can be a wee bit soft when you're shooting up close, while the 8 and the 8 Pro ensure your photo is always perfectly crisp, they just nail it. But that grumble aside, the Pixel 8a keeps up admirably with the flagships thanks to Google's excellent processing smarts. Those HDR skills are almost as strong, while tones are pretty much identical even in ambient conditions. And in proper dim light, the Pixel 8a still smashes it, even if my test shots aren't quite as finely detailed, with or without the night mode, which maxes out at 6 seconds exposure on all three blowers. And I have to say, Google absolutely nails it when it comes to shooting living subjects, especially kids and cats and shit that just can't keep still. Even the Pixel 8a has proved fantastic at those action pics, with blur only really creeping in if things get quite dark. So that was shooting with the full auto mode on all three of these Pixel phones, which most people should be more than happy with. However, the Pixel 8 Pro does also boast some pro photo settings, including the ability to shoot at 50 megapixel resolution, whereas the 8 and the 8a are stuck at 12 meg maximum. You've also got the option to shoot in RAW if you want to edit on the fly, which again ain't an option on the other two. Of course, the main reason to upgrade to that Pro model as far as the optics goes is the 48 megapixel telephoto shooter, which is missing from the other two. And this is capable of 5 times optical zoom. Makes a serious difference when you're zooming in, especially as you can get much closer in general, as it maxes out at 30 times zoom, while the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8a top off at 8 times zoom rather appropriately. You've also got an ultra wide angle shooter on all three. Again, this is upgraded on the Pro to a 48 meg quad based shooter versus a basic 13 and 12 megapixel ultra wide angle snapper on the 8 and the 8a. And the Pixel 8a is the only one here not to offer autofocus for that ultra wide angle snapper, so it's not really very good for your macro type shenanigans compared with the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro, if that's your bag. Now you got all the regular camera modes on all three of these blowers as well, so of course a bit of portrait action if you want a nice bokeh style, bit of blurry action in the background, and a bit of night sight, which automatically activates when the pixels detect the lighting is rather crap. Just produces a nice long exposure shot to help brighten things up and reduce the amount of grain. For your video type shenanigans where you can capture footage at 4K resolution on all three, no 8K support. You can do that at 30 or 60 frames per second on all three of these blowers. You've also got a 24 frames per second option right here on the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro. And as you can see there, you've also got a tasty bit of 10-bit HDR support here on the 8 and the 8 Pro, which is missing in the 8A. And all three are perfectly capable of capturing really good looking Ultra HD video with respectable stabilization and excellent audio capture in all directions. Found that even without the speech enhancement feature, you get nice crisp clear vocals, even if there's a fair bit of background shindiggery going on. No noticeable difference with the 8A in this area, even though it's got one less mic than its more expensive siblings. And if you tend to shoot quite a lot of video at night, I would recommend getting the Pixel 8 Pro, as it's got the video boost feature. I did show this off in my recent 6-month Pixel 8 Pro review, but basically uses a good bit of cloud-based AI type shenanigans to spruce up any low-light video, but it does also take absolutely effing ages to complete, so you're gonna have to be pretty patient. As for the selfie cams, well, the main difference between this trio is the fact that you've got a bit of autofocus here on the Pixel 8 Pro, which you don't get on the others. Now you can again shoot in RAW if you want to edit yourself before you upload to Instas or whatever. But yeah, speaking as someone who's not particularly fond of taking selfies, all three seem to do an alright job of making you not look completely f***ing awful. And here I am shooting the exact same 4K video on all three of these Pixel smartphones. As you can see, no real difference in terms of the image quality. The audio pickup, again, absolutely spot on, just as it was with shooting video with the rear cameras. So if you want to do a bit of vlogging or Skyping, Zooming, whatever you're into, then all good. And if you jump on into the Google Photos app, you've got the same smart editing tools on all three of these Pixel blowers, including all of the AI shenanigans. So you can do all kinds of stuff, including moving any subjects around within your photo. You can also resize them to make them bloody huge or teeny tiny. And you've also got best shot and all the other AI stuff you're doubtlessly absolutely sick to death of because of seeing them pimped incessantly on various Google ads. And some decent video editing tools as well, including the excellent Audio Magic Eraser, which is great news if you've got gusty type shindiggery going on. Can really reduce the background noise as well, make your vocals come through nice and clear, all kinds of stuff. And there you have it, my lovelies. That's how the fresh new Pixel 8a stacks up against the slightly more expensive Pixel 8 and the considerably more expensive Pixel 8 Pro. And I gotta say, while I'm really getting on very well indeed with the Pixel 8a, stay tuned for my 2-week review, which should be landing in the next few days or so. I don't know why you wouldn't just spend that little bit extra and upgrade to the Pixel 8, which sports more premium materials. You've got the upgraded camera tech, quite a few advantages compared with the Pixel 8a. Then of course with the Pro you've got various other advantages, including the upgraded camera tech once again. The telephoto shooter is absolutely that bigger display if you fancy it as well, although I personally prefer the more compact nature of the 8 and the 8a. That's what I reckon anyway. It'd be great to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Which one is your personal pick? And please do plug subscribe, ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you!